Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Wow, it's amazing.
We hear people saying it back
to see
us.
your faces,
Wow,
to hear words.
it's amazing.
Wow. And hello to you who are joining on Zoom. We're really glad you're here too. So, about a week ago, in a social experiment filmed in New York City, a man named Mayor Kalmanson, also known as Mayor K, filmed himself standing blindfolded on a busy street, wearing a mask, with his arms outstretched to offer hugs to complete strangers. By his feet stood a sign with his name and the message, "I am a Jew. I stand for peace. How about you? Let's share a hug between us two and show the world what love can do." So wait, I want you to picture this. The guy has tzitzit, a black yarmulke, a white shirt, a beard, young, blindfolded. This is just like a week ago. He's standing there like this. What's your reaction? What's your feeling to that image? Give me a word. Nuts! He's nuts! Vulnerable, so vulnerable. So someone sent me this, and I know I'm like, I'm an emotional, sensitive, whatever. But I was like, this is going to be corny. I am not going to be moved by this. This is going to be corny. So I opened the thing, and it was it was so powerful. He's standing there, and it took about 30 seconds, and then people start coming over to him, like every height, skin color, everything, giving him a hug. Some just hugged him and walked away. One woman, you see her coming up, and she says, "I'm a Muslim." And then one man came up and said, "I'm a Palestinian Muslim who stands against anti-Semitism. I'm trying to educate people every day. I'm doing the best I can." And Kay's there. He's like, "You're a legend, buddy. You're a legend." Again, totally blindfolded. Mayor said, with the rise, not my mayor, this mayor, with the rise of anti-Semitism, I took to the streets to stand for peace, for understanding and connection. Actually, I was just thinking recently that if Mayor was going to go into Manhattan, I would tell him to take his yarmulke off. Quite the opposite. While blindfolded, Kay said that he had many open and honest conversations, which only reminded him that we all have a lot more in common than we imagine. Through all the ruckus, he said, we can feel confused, angry, afraid, alone. And so I felt an urge, no, he says, a need to dial it back, to simplify and remind myself and possibly others that we all possess the antidote to the chaos we find in ourselves. So the image for me is, when the priest gives the priestly benediction, if you're in an Orthodox shul, he actually covers his face and goes like this. So when we come to prayer, I'm not advising any of us to do what this man did, but really what we're trying to do is turn down the noise, turn down the suspicion, open our arms, connect, kindle a flame. Let's do that tonight, and we'll begin by inviting our bat mitzvah family up, the Seikos, in celebration of Ali's bat mitzvah tomorrow. Come on up to kindle some Shabbat lights. We are on page 2. Now put it in the sand. continue on page 12, Psalm 95. Gehu Naranana.
Lechon ranen al Adonai, Naria, Letzon Ishenu. Turning quickly to page 13.
Continue on page 14, Psalm 97.
Adonai malach tegel haaretz yismechu yihim rabim Amal barocher sevivav zerek mishpat michon kiso Ohavei Adonai sinora Shomer v'shor chasidav Miyad reshayim yahatzilei In the third paragraph at the bottom of page 14 Tzadik top of page 16, we continue with the second half of Psalm 98. Zamru Adonai Bechino, Bechino lekol zimra, Bechatzatzrot vekol shofar, Hariu lifnei HaMelech Adonai, Yehiram hayam umlo, Tevel v'yoshvei Lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel tzedek, yamin lemeisharim, yihiram hayam umlo, tevel v'yoshvei leharat v'machal It's so wonderful to be able to do that, to have Yachad in this room, to have togetherness once more.
Page 18.
Last verse is on page 19. Adonai Oz, Le'amo Yitein, Adonai Yevarech et Amo V'Shalom. Adonai Oz, Le'amo Yitein, Adonai Yevarech et Amo V'Shalom.
Taking a breath as we turn to L'Chadodi on page 20. Maybe setting an intention to let go of anything you want to let go from the week. And breathing in some of the sweetness, the renewal, the connection, that blindfolded, open-handed love that is Shabbat. Joining together, page 20.
Lai la lai lecha dodi, lai la lai likrat kala, lai la lai panei Shabbat nekabela זכור בדיבור אחד, הישמענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושמו תפארת אלי תהילה. הללי לך דודי, הללי לקראת כלה, הללי פני שבת מקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו בנלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם לסופה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. הללי לך דודי, הללי לקראת כלה, הללי פני שבת מקבלה. Verse 5. התעוררי, כי באורך ומי אורי, אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לכלותי לקראת כלה, פני שבת מקבלה. הללי לך דודי, הללי לקראת כלה. Verse 5, I invite you to rise, to greet one another, to greet the spirit of unity that is Kabbalat Shabbat, to greet the Sabbath bride. There she is in the back row. Wear your red mask. בואי ושלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. You could turn around and הללי לך דודי, הללי לקראת כלה, הללי פני שבת, הללי לקבלה. הללי לך דודי, הללי לקראת כלה, הללי פני שבת, פני שבת.
Page 22, moving through these Psalms. It's like moving through the days of the week.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. The bottom of the page indented. צדיקת המר יפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני.
Continuing with Shalom Aleichem, welcoming the angels of Shabbat. We're on page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barechuni leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitechem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Rising now in body or spirit from Baruch Hu on page 28.
Lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, lai 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 la lai, ya la lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
Join together with me a prayer for creation on 31. Praise to you,
Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows.
Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, from whom the evening flows.
Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai, Amahari v'haravim. Page 32. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbeinu u'v'kumeinu, nasiach בחוקך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ויארך ימינו ויארך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה יומם ולילה באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Be seated. 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם.
Our prayer for nighttime, Micha Mocha, excuse me, page 44. We're at the Song of Freedom. Page 40. That's what I meant. Thank you for reading my mind.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מי חזק ממנו. Praised are you, Adonai, Redeemer of Israel.
Someone recently reached out to me and said, you know, I'm feeling anxious. I've got some health concerns. I'm waiting for test results. Give me a prayer. What's a prayer? I sent her the Hashkivenu. 42.
Shalom, and it's so beautiful to hear them. Thank you for sharing them, and I'm so glad you're here.
Shamru, page 44.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Ooh, this is high. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
So we're doing this Torah celebration project, and one of the themes is finding your word of Torah. And on Shavuot, we had our amazing artist in residence, Eileen Walk, helping people to write beautiful words. And she said, you know, Rabbi Tara, will you write a word? And I'm like, sure, what word do you want me to write? She's like, I want you to write the word that you taught me, Vayinafash. You see it there? Last word of the prayer. Vayinafash. It's spiritual rest. It's not Netflix rest. It's not couch potato rest. It's the deep spiritual rest that we can only find on Shabbat, that honestly we can only find in community. Bayinafash. Let's rise for the Amidah, 46.
La 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 Adonai. Ya la 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 Sfatai tiftach. Ya la 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, mechayei hakol, atah rav lehoshia, morid hatal. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופך עולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו ישני עפר, מי כמוך על גבורות ומדום אליך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. Page 52. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Continuing on our own, seated or standing, with the meditations of our own heart, following the words on the page or wherever you need to go at this moment. You can be seated, of course, when you're done your prayers.
Feel free to continue private meditations at your own pace. Let's join together on page 58 as we offer thanks and gratitude for all the fathers in our lives. We say, Modim anachnu lach, we are grateful to you, and we'll be singing Hatov at the last paragraph at the top of the page as we see a brief slideshow of all the fathers in our lives whose pictures have been submitted. And they'll be showing up on the screen in the room just to the right of Rabbi Feldman in a brief moment. Shai, take it away. Feel free to join with me in the words you'll find in that third paragraph. Hatov, hatov, ki lo chalo rachamecha, ve'amrachem, ve'amrachem, ki lo tamu chasadecha. Hatov ki lo chalo rachamecha, ve'amrachem, ki lo tamu chasadecha. מעולם קיווינו לך, מודים אנחנו לך. הטוב, הטוב, כי לא חלו רחמך, וימרחם, וימרחם, כי לא תמו חסדיך. הטוב, כי לא רחמך, וימרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך. מעולם קיווינו לך, מודים אנחנו לך. יאללה לה יאללה לה יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה יאללה לה La 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 מעולם קיווינו לך, מודים אנחנו לך. מעולם קיווינו לך, מודים אנחנו לך.
Shalom Rav, page 60.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדום לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדום לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
Moving now to Misha Berach, our prayer for healing on 253, inviting you to offer names as I pass through the aisles or to add them to the Zoom chant.
שבירך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, oh, bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. May all those whose names we hold in our hearts have a speedy recovery, a refuah shalema mehera.
And now we get to have, it's so weird, the tables are turned. We're going to watch Mayor, who figured out how to do the Nevelson green screen and will be with us, sharing some pretty powerful experiences that he recently had on this UJA mission post-violence with, he'll tell you, but
Hello, Temple Beth-El. It's a pleasure to come to you from Jerusalem. I feel very excited about this first message to you, and since I've been away. I'll see you in a few weeks, and I feel so lucky to be with Adina and Gavi and to look out from our little merpeset, our little porch, to look out at the Bridge of Strings, the bridge that welcomes guests and strangers and residents and Jews and non-Jews, people of all varieties to Jerusalem. I feel so blessed to breathe the Jerusalem air. I've had a really wonderful 2 weeks so far. And I want to tell you about my first few days after I arrived. The title that I give this talk is from Rabbi Tamar Applebaum, Elad Applebaum, and from Mati Friedman. The title I'm giving it is The Firefly versus the Gold Digger. I'll share more about this in a few moments. But over a week ago, I spent 2+ days, very intense days, with 25 New York rabbis. And 12 hours before the Hamas-Israel ceasefire, these courageous and visionary men and women decided to drop everything and fly to Israel for one reason: to show their loyalty and love of Israel. My arrival in Jerusalem had been 3 days earlier. This rabbinic mission was the vision of the extraordinary New York UJA. The UJA knows how to take care of rabbis and how to help rabbis take care of so many others. I'd say just show up. That was the vision. And so 25 rabbis flew out on Sunday evening, arrived Monday morning, and returned to their synagogue families on Wednesday night. They weren't even getting 72 hours in Israel, and yet they chose to show up. Upon arrival, they got their COVID and serology tests and were immediately ready to be witnesses and listeners. At some moments, it felt like showing up for a shiva, and in this case, for amazing people holding lots of grief. We spent time with Tali Levinson, the eloquent and brilliant head of the Ashkelon Resilience Center, which works with children and adults suffering from trauma and anxiety. There were almost 1,800 rockets that fell in and around Ashkelon. We spent time with Tira L. Cohen, the inspiring founder and director of the Kedma Project, literally on the Gaza border. along with 20-somethings, Emily and Ronnie, two extraordinary participants who moved to the kibbutz to work with the elderly members there and to create programming that will attract young families to the Gaza border. Mostly these two beautiful young people are determined to invest their days in something bigger than themselves. That's exactly what they said. We just want to be doing something that's connected to something bigger than ourselves. Yoav Bedolik, former head of the devastated intentional community in Lod, which has brought together Jews and Arabs and Christians in a community center for many years. Sagit Arieli, longtime UJA leader in Ashkelon, whose home was literally destroyed by a Gaza rocket. We spent time with Dani Elazar from the Hand in Hand network of schools, Mohammed Darwash from Amanina, Wulrud from Beit Berry, and Mohammed from Ajik. All of them came to the Ma'oz Center. It's a center for thought leaders. They came together to work, to learn about the work they do all over Israel, striving to make Israel a better place through collaboration and partnership. But these days of our mission, and still to this day, there is so much pain and fear and some despair. At every Shiva, in all moments of fear and anxiety, it makes an enormous difference to be surrounded by people who will listen. And this was a group of incredible listeners. After 11 days of rockets, of constant anxiety, Israelis of all stripes appreciated our group of loving and thoughtful listeners. And at other moments, Shiva wasn't the prevailing metaphor, at least not for me. My dad used to say, and many of you know this, don't wait for the funeral. It wasn't about another funeral, but it was about squeezing the most out of life, about not wasting a moment to reimagine, repair, and rebuild. We were told and we saw the shul in Ashkelon, where a Hamas rocket landed on Sunday afternoon. And by Shavuot on Sunday night, that same night, just hours later, the shul was ready for study and celebration. Our base was Jerusalem, and we traveled south to Ashkelon and the Gaza border, and we traveled north to Lod, 15 miles or so from Tel Aviv. Down south, we saw the fear, anxiety, and devastation of our enemies' rockets. Up north a bit in Lod, we witnessed the anguish, rage, and mistrust of longtime neighbors who torched each other's property and committed really serious acts of violence against one another. On the southern border, Israel evacuated all the families from kibbutz near Oz. 17 times rockets landed on the kibbutz very nearby. In Lod, Arabs and Jews committed violent, hateful acts against one another. For Fatin, the Muslim co-director of the Lod Community Center, it was devastating to watch years and years of her life work literally go up in flames. And for her Jewish co-director of the community center, it was still too raw, raw and vulnerable to speak with visitors, even this group of extraordinary rabbis. In our Parsha, Shalach Lecha, Moses tells the Meraglim, the spies, Aluze, go up there. Alita metahar, ascend, go up that hill. Make an aliyah to the land. It's scary. The enemies are very real. But it's not obvious from the Torah text what part of the land the spies were going to see. Let's thank Rashi 1,000 years ago in France. He explains that what they were about to see would be the psolet. Psolet is the worst of the land, the zip codes with the worst, most stressful challenges, like maybe Gaza and Lod. When it comes to Israel, said Rashi 1,000 years ago, what's on the surface, what we witness first, will likely be the worst, the most upsetting. Only with time and patience and faith, he says, acharkach, afterwards, after a little time, marin et hashevach, only by really showing up will we get to see the beauty and the wonder. In each of our scheduled experiences, this wonderful group of rabbis began by listening to the pain and struggle, to the violence and despair. But after our deep listening, we witnessed shevach, beauty and wonder. Despite every act of terror and violence after the destruction of property, we witnessed a desire to look more closely, to work harder to find and to see the shevach, the beauty and the wonder. As Mati Friedman put it to our group, Zionism from its very founding moments has been and is a moment of radical optimism. Today's Israelis have a lot to teach the spies from our parsha. The spies didn't have faith, they didn't have radical optimism. Uncovering the shevach, the beauty below the psolet, below the surface, and the purpose below the pain, it apparently took too much effort for the spies, but not for this group of Jewish leaders. With patience and passion, they got to the beauty and wonder. So what about the firefly and the gold digger? Rabbi Tamar Elad Applebaum suggested to us that showing up is like looking for the light of the firefly. The firefly's light is brief. We must fix our attention on it, and we must have faith that her light will shine again. Mati Friedman warned us to not be like the gold digger who wants only to find something shiny. See, look at this shiny gem, and then make that shiny thing the whole story. Rabbi Tamar reminded us that Torah begins with darkness, a choshech that even God has to confront. Fighting darkness goes back to the founding moments of humanity, of life. Apparently, it's always a part of our lives, suggests Genesis 1. I think that Mati Friedman and Rabbi Tamar are both right. Very often, gold diggers don't find gold, but something that looks shiny at first, for a moment, but turns out to be dross, worthless. Instead, we should pursue the light of the firefly. Connecting the dots, the lights of the firefly, that's what it means to listen with care and with love. Fireflies remind us of faith. A small ray of light can make a big difference. Even though there are many moments we can't find the firefly's lights, there's a promise that they'll come again. And if we try to link each light to the many other lights, we can begin to illuminate our souls and our friends and our neighbors. Rashi reminds us that first, spies would only see the psolet, the secondhand stuff, that which is in so much need of improvement. But when we look deeper, when we really show up, we can sometimes see the shevach, the beauty and wonder, the praise and faith that is deep within all of us. These amazing 25 rabbis know how to listen, how to get beyond the psolet and revel in the shvach. With the beautiful help of the UJA, after 2 days of listening and looking, the beauty and wonder revealed itself. And so I close with this blessing. May we all know how blessed we are for our extraordinary leaders. May we listen more carefully when they speak and see more clearly when they describe their recent experiences in Israel. We have no problem noticing the psolet, the dross in our lives. May we all take the time to find the shevach in our lives and in Israel. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. We rise now for Aleinu on 282, rising in body or spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגואלנו ככל המונה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך As we turn our hearts to those who are mourning and those who are observing Yortzites, we turn to page 294 as we prepare for Kaddish Yatom Mourners Kaddish.
Feel free to, of course, add any names into the Zoom chat. If you hear the name of someone you're remembering, please rise when you hear that name. This week marks the passing of Myrna Levy and Harry Walken. And the Yortzites this week for Pearl Biegelman, Muriel Hirschberg, Joseph Cloville, Karen Penner, Saul Wolin, Barry Schneider, Beatrice Scheinfeld, Felix Smolowitz, Raz Zitner, Rachel Kofsky, Bernard Kofsky, Irving Aronson, Sarah Cohen. And are there any other names anyone would like to add here in the room? If it's your custom to rise for Kaddish Yatom, please do so now. 294. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yiruteh, v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalel v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'miran v'yalma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imroma, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony and peace and healing on high bring that to all Israel and to all humanity. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, we say one last time, amen. You may be seated. And it is my honor and thrill to call to an actual microphone in an actual space, our president, Gary Slobin.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Wow, this is very nice. Isn't this great? How does it feel not to have bulletproof glass? Right? No masks, no glass.
Free at last.
Cancer,
free
can
at
you
last.
sing without a mask?
I just did.
I thought you had forgotten how to do it. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Wasn't it great? You'd really shine without that mask, so very nice.
That's because there's no hair up there.
No, this is really great to have everybody here. I know that there's lots of folks at home who are still not comfortable in coming to the sanctuary, but hopefully that will change in the weeks to come, and we'll increase our appearance here every week. I want you to know that the precautions that we take are not arbitrary. Everything we're doing here is in consultation with our medical advisory committee. So we've taken every step possible to assure that we're following all guidelines and that everybody is kept as safe as possible. So if there's something you don't like, you know, we're trying to work it out, but I assure you everything is being done after very careful consideration. So nothing is arbitrary. We have some announcements, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? It's just another thing, you know, it's so nice to be in the sanctuary, right? It's not just a sanctuary place. It's really a sanctuary for all of us from the madness of this world. And it's really nice to be able to come here on Shabbat and just put it all out of our heads for a few moments and just look inward, outward, and just be in this space is just so special. So
Amen.
thank God we're here, right? Yeah. So always great things going on at the temple. Tomorrow, Torah study, 9 a.m. Shabbat morning service will be at 10:30. And Sunday, Israel Fest drive-through event, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. This year, travel from the south of Israel all the way to the north during this one-of-a-kind interactive exhibition, $25 per car at JCC Roslyn. Wednesday, June 9th, is the UJA Federation of New York Presents Witness Project. That'll be at 7 p.m. You could join a virtual film screening documenting the year-long collaborative process between the Witness Project students and Holocaust survivors. We're pleased to announce that Jolie L., Temple Beth-El congregant, is a participant in the program. Thursday, June 10th, the occasional midday music and meditation, Om. Om. This is with Cantor Adam at 12 p.m. noon. Take a 30-minute out of your busy day. Take 30 minutes out of your busy day to recharge and say Om with Cantor Adam. It's a half-hour online Zoom event designed to refocus your mind and reconnect to the universe. A little bit of meditation, a little bit of text, a little bit of deep listening, and a healthy measure of music. Next weekend, very busy weekend. Services will be outdoors and begin at 6:30. Hopefully, some of you at home will feel more comfortable coming in and attending services outdoors, so we hope you could join us next week. Next Saturday, June 12th, there'll be a barbecue and Havdalah at 7 p.m., sponsored by Brotherhood. Join your TBE family and invite your unaffiliated friends to join us for a delicious barbecue dinner. Hot dogs, burgers, veggie items, and more will be served. Havdalah to follow, $10 per adult. Children under 18 are free. Sunday, June 13th, Rise and Shine Sunday Gratitude Yoga at 9 a.m. with my sister-in-law, Sharon Epstein. And Friday, June 18th, services will be back indoors. So some over the summer, some will be indoors, some will be outdoors. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank the ushers. Don't thank the clergy. Thank the
It's
ushers.
so great to have you here in person. It's been so long since we've seen you here, just on the screen. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm zoomed out. So thank you for being here. And hopefully we'll have both you and Mayor
You
here
will.
soon.
The whole
Back on
mishpacha.
the Bima. And thank you, Cantor, for everything. Thank you, Shai. Thank you, Jackie, for doing the technology today. Thank you to our ushers, Lee and Sandy Kaplan and Elaine Springer. Thank you so much. So as we begin gathering in person for Shabbat services, we do need more ushers. So if you're interested and you're able to, please be in touch with Joy Allen in the main office. It's so important, especially as people start coming back in person, to have ushers here who make people feel welcome and comfortable in the new environment that we're in. So please, if you can volunteer, please do so. It's really important for all of us. Chala, thank you to the Margoloff family. And of course, congratulations to the Seiko family on this wonderful occasion. Good luck tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be great. So thank you.
Thank you,
Shabbat shalom,
Gary.
everyone.
Wow, it feels so normal. And I remember this when the president used to come up and give announcements. So great. Okay, a few small things. Remember to turn your prayer book, right? We never had to do that on Zoom. Bring it back with you. And a reminder that the unmasked part is only when we're seated, that when you start getting up and moving around, we have to remask. And one thing that, not your fault, Gary, it was left off, but just on Thursday night, June 10th, there'll be a sisterhood gathering in person, dinner, 6:30. We're gonna share reflections from female leaders in the past and think about leadership in the future. And we're gonna close with Kiddush and Motzi. So come on up, Seikols. Again, you ready? We're on page 5.
ויהי רבי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ בכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבוק ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. Sabavi, take it away, Ali.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו ושבתו באהבה ורצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית
כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש
זכר ליציאת מצרים קיבלנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Chaim. You can sip it if it's okay with your parents. Okay, the challah. Unfurl the challah. It's under a binder, so you have to lift her up, and you can offer the blessing together. Amen. Please take a bite, because you never want to say a blessing without doing something. Share it, because you're in the same pod. And we rise in body or spirit for our closing song, which will be
on page 10. Ma yafe hayom. Shabbat shalom, everyone.